Hello everybody, I'm here to talk to you about Mr. Andre Abrams. If you've been following me, you know that I've been helping support a man named Andre Abrams. He's here in Gainesville, Florida. You can Google his name, Andre Abrams, Gainesville, Florida. Okay, so what I'm here to show is this case is very relevant. It's been in the courts since around, see the date, December 10th. December 10th. You see how many entries there are. We'll go to number 4. There's still entries. U.S. man looks to settle argument with flamethrower. Florida man's placed flamethrower towards teen's parking car. I'm going to read one of these stories, and it's from Local Fox 35 over in Orlando, and it was published December 10th. It says, a Florida man, angry over his neighbor's parking habit, sprayed fire from a commercial flamethrower toward a car with 3 teenagers inside, police said. No one was hurt. Andre Abrams, 57, of Gainesville, Florida, is facing 3 counts of felony aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intending to kill. According to court records, he posted a $15,000 bond. That was on each count. The mother of one of the teens, Ashley Gainey, said Abrams frequently sprayed the flamethrower to scare off guests at her home. Gainey's daughter, Natalia Baker, 16, fled the car with her friends as Abrams continued to spray flames towards them, the police said. When he shoots, it lights up the whole road, Gainey said. It's like daylight outside. He'll do it right in the middle of the night. In his arrest report, police identified the weapon in the November 30th incident as an XM42 light flamethrower which shoots flames up to 20 feet, and who the manufacturer was, and it can be purchased for approximately $900 online. The company, which also sells t-shirts identifying the wearer as a little terrorist, requires buyers to accept a liability waiver and affirm that they were never convicted of a felony, even though you don't need to, but they ask you to. So, Andre is not a felon. Abrams said in a brief phone interview that he could not discuss the case without consulting an attorney over fear of being evicted from his home by the local housing authority. Alachua County Circuit Judge Mayshawn Rawls formally approved his request for a public defender, according to the courts. All right. In the U.S., there are no federal laws regulating the sale of flamethrowers. Goes on to talk about a shotgun shell that was outlawed called Dragon's Breath because it shot a fireball. But anyway, so what we're looking at here is, Andre Abrams. Now, the state's attorney office 8, did not pick up this case right away. Andre was arrested on site, okay? I'm not here to get into the dynamics of that case. I'm not here, I have seen the, what they call the discovery yielded from the motion of discovery. I'm not here to talk about the case like that in any of those aspects. What I am here to show is the progression of the case and where it's went from the November 30th incident till now. Now, this was 2021. Now it's 2024, okay? So we're gonna fast forward here. We've seen that Andre has a lot of feedback. I showed you 4 pages of this incident. It made its way around national, okay? Now, like I said, Andre was arrested at the scene, right? As soon as the police responded, he was taken into custody, and I'm going to leave that there at that. Now, what was Andre doing? Andre lives in Forest Pines. It is a Gainesville Housing Authority, HUD, Housing Urban Development, housing project, okay, Section 8. Now, when you talk about this area, the dynamics of it, it's in the Duval area of Gainesville, and in the Forest Pines area. While Andre was there were 137 calls for service, shots fired. Some of them were on this neighbor's yard. Okay, long story short, they park these cars along the road and do hand-to-hand drug sales out of them. The Gainesville Housing Authority, who by virtue of the HUD Bill of Rights never committed to enforcing any of their policies and procedures. The crime rate is off the charts in here. Like I said, there's 100, this is all documented evidence. I'm not presenting a lot of this actual and factual, but I can tell you Mr. Andre Abrams had a lot of dialogue with the Gainesville Housing Authority, with the Gainesville Police Department, and the city of Gainesville over this matter. All right, so long story short, what I'm here for, now that I've established who Andre Abrams is, what I'm here for is I have some unfinished business. This is Attorney Dean Galligani. When I'm going to pick up where Andre was arrested, the next day he went to a bond hearing where they asked him to submit either a guilty or not guilty plea. I'll bring that up later. And within 2 days after him making bond, which was the next day, within 24 hours of his arrest, he made bond. Within 2 days after that, he retained for the sum of $10,000 cash, Attorney Dean Galligani. All right, this is him, the Galligani Law Firm. That's how you spell his name, Galligani. All right. That's him over here on the left, Dean Galligani. All right, Mr. Abrams retained Dean Galligani, like I said, for $10,000. All right. Now, I'm going to take y'all to the Alachua You have to excuse me, I don't really have a studio and I'm typing offhand. Alachua County Clerk of Court. You can see I indexed that, and I'm going to go to court records. Alright, begin your court records search. Alright, I got to put some QQA N 3. Oh, I didn't do it. QQA N 3. Let's see if that gets us in. Oh, we're in. All right, so I'm going to do, we're at the Alachua County Clerk of Court, the General Index Search. I'm going to enter the name. Abrams. Okay, I'm going to come down here. We're going to find an open criminal court. This is Andre. Andre, prior to this event, Andre has no criminal history, according to the state of Florida. All right. What we're going to look at, these are the court records. These are the parties. Andre Abrams, Brittany Prince, and his bond agent, Carol Long. Now, Brittany Prince was not, and she's an interesting character, I'll just say in the least. All right, she has a history. You can Google her name, Brittany Prince, Gainesville Police Department, and an interesting record comes up. But I'm not going there with that. I've stated it earlier in another video. So when we look at Andre Abrams started out with one state assistant state attorney. He had the case about 12 to 14 months. Then another state attorney stepped in. Her name was Pickens. She had it for about 8 months, and now Brittany Prince is a state attorney at this point in time. So these are the events. Now, when you start looking at court cases, right, you have to look at the last is first. In other words, it starts on February 15th, 2022. That was his arraignment. Give or take a day or two, okay? Because these entries, you can plus or minus a day or so for administrative purposes, all right? These are all the events, right? Now, when we go to the docket, we look down here at the bottom of the docket, right here, we see that there's 3 tabs, right? So you gotta start at the first, which is actually the last, okay? So now we're at the first when we get to the last, all right? December 1st. December 1st is the arrest form, all right? Remember, this happened all around November 30th, all right? So what we're gonna look at, first appearance order, December 1st. This is basically the charge. On the above date and time, the mentioned location, the defendant was upset because of ongoing parking issues with the neighbor. The defendant armed himself with a flamethrower and exited his residence. The defendant walked out on the public roadway and began spraying the flames. All right, so we see this is the arrest warrant, basically. I'm not going into the merits of the case, but this is the arrest warrant. All right, basically what we're looking at. All right. Now we're starting on December 1st. I just want to show how many court appearances. Each one of these is a court appearance. Give or take a day or two. We're not going to start here. This is the 2nd of November. I mean, correction, the 2nd of December. This is all the administrative bond, standing no contact order. He lives across the street, okay, from those people. So he had some conditions of release, right? We start here on his appearances. All right, he's already detained. He's already retained attorney Dean Galligani. Okay, that's this guy here, the Galligani law firm. He has legal representation at this time. All right. All right. So he has legal representation. We're going to start on the docket, That was the first page. Now we're going to go to the second page. All these are court appearances. Now we're starting at, he was arrested in November or 2021. All right. We're starting, all these are appearances. This is a result held. Okay. See we'll go back real quick to the third page. To the start, which is the first page, which is actually the third page. All right. There's no, he's appearing, but he's appearing for different orders and stuff. Now, this is his first appearance. I'm just saying thereabouts. What we're going to start with basically as his first appearance was 114, criminal court event set, event arraignment, February 15th, 9 a.m. Judge, circuit. Okay, so he's already retained his attorney, right? See down here. Order substituting counsel of the record. Blah, blah, blah. He's retained an attorney for $10,000. He's made bond. The Long bail bondsman. Her name is Mrs. Long. Anyway, so all that's a wrap. All right, so 114. This is held. Criminal court event set, case management. Before the February appearance that I'm talking about. So we're starting court at 114. And it was held, as you can see, held. All right. The state's discovery. This is the first state attorney, right? His name isn't on a lot of stuff, but he had this case for a long time, like 12 to 14 months at least. His name is Zuko S. Dualachi. Okay? That's how he says it in American. That's his name in his dialect. Okay, I hereby certify. Shows that on this date, February the 7th day, Andre had legal counsel, Dean Galligani, in the form of $10,000 retainer. The reason I'm iterating on that, because it's important as I go along. His attorney signed a notice. See where he agreed to represent him. The pretrial conference, April 19, 2022. If the defendant fails to change his or her plea, this case will proceed in a pretrial conference and trial as set forth above. Now we're talking all the way back here when the first state's attorney that I read that to you, his name. Okay, so we've had one. Now we're going down here. We're waiving all these administrative appearances, okay? We're starting with one appearance. That's where it says held. And that's right here, bam. On January 14th, give or take a day or two. See, paperwork's going in. Notice issued to attorney for defendant. Notice issued to bond agent. State's discovery exhibit. They're having a little cross-board talk. Here we come. January, February, March. Attorney signed a notice. I already went through some of these things with you. Now we're going to go down here to the second page. Just got to start at the bottom. This is in chrono. All right, 316. This is another case now. Held, bam. It's like I said, a day or two, a day prior or a day after, we have to give leniency for the administrative functions to be entered into the clerk of the court by the time the clerk of the court register it and put it in the record. This is the record that I am reviewing at the Alachua County Clerk of Court. You can go there too, and you can look up the Andre Abrams case. Every one of these little circles right here is an item that you can click on, and there's some kind of entry. Okay, see, the next court date is May 17th, so I'm gonna click off of that. So here we start, back. Event held, criminal court, event set, case management, 419. This is 316 because they just went to court on the other page. So that's once, twice. Here we are 3 times now already. Okay. Then we're going to go up. Criminal, another one, 420. Remember I said the court was held on 419? The motion, or the paperwork administrative function entered, as you can see my cursor bouncing around, entered into case management. That's held. That's 4 appearances. This is a reschedule, but held, but change of plea. We're at 4, actually 5, because he had to appear there too for it to be held. This is number 6, June 17th, 2022, 6. 8/10/2022, 7. 9/13/2022, 8. October 18th, 2022, 9. November 16th, held, 10. December 14th, held, 11. January 17th, held, 12. February 2022, 13, held. These are 13 appearances now. At this time, at 2/22, or correction, 4/10, psychological evaluation. Now I think we're at 13, right? This was not held, but he still had to appear. 14, 13, 14. Now we're gonna go down here. Remember I said you had to come forward from the rear. 14, go all the way down here at the bottom. $412. Okay, we're at 13 or 14. It doesn't matter because it's insane. But 15 rescheduled. 16 rescheduled. 17. Now he's going every time. It doesn't matter for a motion for continuance or it was rescheduled. 17. Something like that. This is another one. Rescheduled, event canceled, 18. Result, bond held, 19. Criminal court case set, felony first, 20. Appearance number 20 now. We're looking at this every time, okay? 20. So, these are different dates, 7/27, 7/28, 8/03, 8/23, 8/24, 8/24, okay? This is another appearance, right? I think we're at like 19 or 20. This is another, each one of these is another appearance, okay? 21, 22, 23, 24. See? Held. 24. Another time he had to go. 25. We're up to like appearance 26. He just went the other day. And he got a new, okay. That's where I'm going with this, all right. His attorney, Dean Galligani, has made no motions. The reason what I'm doing now is we have unfinished business with Dean Galligani. We have to get $10,000 out of him, okay? So Andre's last court appearance, which was last month, January 24th, 2024, okay, Dean Galligani, the only times he's met with Andre, when he first met him, Andre gets Social Security. He explained when he gave Dean Galligani the $10,000 cash retainer, he said, "That's all I got, man. I'm on, Section 8. I live in a project, and this is all I got. So please, do a good job with it." They fill, scope of work and all that. Dean Galligani made no motions. That was the first day that Andre met him, which was 2 days after his bonding out. All right. Within that time to the next appearance, I'm going to enunciate some situations. The state knows the status of their case. That's all I'm going to say. All right. There's a reason this went this long. Now, with that I said, I want you to understand that, say for instance, public defenders are assigned by alphabet, A through F, G through N, that way. Judges are a little bit different because there's less of them. They're assigned by what departments they specialize in. And I'm going to enunciate Judge Kreider. Judge Kreider is a mental health court judge. Andre, after his bond hearing, basically at the jail, and he bonded out, he didn't have an arraignment till quite a few days expired. But he had already met with Attorney Galligani, and this is the fact that I'm bringing to the table here that I'm serving up, is Dean Galligani collaborated with the judge and the district attorney, who is actually the assistant state attorney, and stated that Andre Abrams, the defendant, attends Meridian under his own volition to seek betterment through mental health services. That he had been going there for at least 2 years. So now Andre is assigned to Judge Kreider, who's a mental health court. Now, is that an incidental or something, that is coincidental? No, that was by virtue of Dean Galligani, defense attorney. That's where I'm going with this. This man, however you want to say it, he did not serve the client, Andre Abrams. There are no motions entered. There's no motions to dismiss. Now, when Andre Abrams first retained him, Dean Galligani said to him, "This is an easy win, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of screw-ups in the case, blah, blah, blah." All right, so we're going with these. That's not a fact. That's just hearsay, but I'm just explaining to you there's no motions made by Dean Galligani. But in the beginning, he went to his bond hearing, then he went to, Dean Galligani retained him. There was no immediate arraignment trial. Later on, within 10-15 days at least, there was a arraignment. At the time of the arraignment, when all the proceedings were set to go forth, Judge Kreider was assigned the case. However that happens, okay? Judge Kreider is a mental health court. Andre told his attorney that he went to Meridian and that he gets Social Security insurance, like SSDI. Anyway, long story short, this attorney, Dean Galligani, offered this because now the city of Gainesville is on the hook for this, because this is not a good arrest. I can't go into it any further because I'm not going to name the dynamics of the case, but I'm just explaining to you, by all virtues of your reasoning, you can see if they've been holding on to a case for over 10 years, plenty of cases had occurred, the incident occurred, the case has been tried, and defendant has come back sentenced. We got a good example. My neighbor behind me, he was tormented so bad in the Phoenix Project area here behind me that he went in his house, come out, produced his rifle, chased a man around the back, and shot him in the ass, and he received 90 days. That's not exactly stand your ground, but those are the certain circumstances that I'm talking about. Like Andre, where he lived at, in Forest Pines, there's 137 calls for service, shots fired. That's 137 times. That's not 137 different people calling. Those are 137 times. Okay, Andre Abrams, like I said, his attorney made no motions during all this time, except one motion, and that was that I'm going to show you that I'm going to show you the time hacks and all that, but Attorney Dean Galligani prayed to the court that he's exhausted Andre Abrams' retainer, and that he had requested Dr. Rohrer mentally evaluate Andre Abrams, and Dr. Rohrer's bill was $600 for the hour. Okay, this is your tax money now. And this Judge Kreider, he's been complicit with all these actions. Now, just remember, not only is the state on the hook, not only is the city on the hook, the Gainesville Housing Authority and the Gainesville Police Department, all right, which the Gainesville Police Department is part of the city. So when we are looking at now this is all their records now. This is their records. This isn't something that I put up here to present to you. This is their records, all right? And I'm going to go through them and thorough as to why. You'll see the actions I'm fixing to take. But this is important for y'all to see that Dean Galligani made no motions except that these are his charges, all right? Now, his deposition, all right? He at a certain point in time, the first state's attorney went off the case. The second state's attorney, assistant state's attorney, came on, Pickens, all right? She was the one that facilitated all this. And they said that Andre was mentally, physically unable to stand trial. Now, I'm going to show you that right here. I'm going to show you that right here. All right. So that would make him automatically, presumably guilty. All right. If you can't stand trial. Now, I got to find the part where that says. All right, so it was like August 14th. August. This cause. Now this is we're talking all the way from the initial point of this. This is the court having received and reviewed the written report dated April 9th, 2023. Now it's August 24th, okay? 2021, November 2021 is when he caught this case. Order adjudging defendant incompetent to proceed and placing defendant on conditional release, mental illness. Now, after all these actions, all right, and now I believe that Dean Galligani colluded. This is just my, I want to say something right here. Deception is fraud. Fraud at the government level is corruption. Okay, you can't dispute that. Now this attorney, private defense attorney, Dean Galligani, he was told by Andre Abrams that conversation never left his office, right? That's client attorney privilege. He went and told the judge and told the court, I'm insisting that it was at least the district attorney, or what we call in Florida, the state's attorney, the prosecutor. You know who I'm talking about. He's what we call assistant state's attorney, office number 8 in Gainesville, Florida, Alachua County. Okay, I'm insinuating, and I believe we have enough facts to show that that information should have never left the office, but it was volunteered to parties that shouldn't have been privy, and it was, and so forth. Later on, for some reason, the first state attorney never acted on the case. Remember, I read his name. He sounded, foreign. All right. So after all this, he stayed on the case 12, 14 months. Here we are at April 9th, 2023. All right. This paper comes. This cause, having one to be heard before the court and the question of the competency of the defendant in this cause to proceed having been raised in accordance with the provisions of Florida, it shows the statute at 916.12, Dr. Jennifer Rohr, a licensed psychologist, examined the defendant to determine whether he is competent to proceed. All right. Both the state and the defense were afforded the opportunity to present evidence to the court and stipulated that the written report of Dr. Rohr should be received into evidence. The court, having received and reviewed the written report dated April 9, 2023, on the above named expert in relationship to the issue, the defendant's competency to proceed and need for treatment, hereby makes the following findings of facts and conclusions of law. The court facts that the defendant has diagnosed bipolar 1 with psychotic features. Okay? The defendant is incompetent to proceed due to the defendant's mental illness and as defined in Florida statute at 916.106, item 11. The defendant is incompetent to proceed with pretrial hearings, entry of plea. In other words, he can't plead. He can't have a pretrial hearing. The trial of this case, the sentencing, all this is exclusionary to him due to his mental health deficiencies. All right, that's what all that says. The defendant does not meet the criteria for commitment to a treatment facility of the Department of Children and Families as provided in Florida statute, blah, 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 in need of outpatient treatment to restore to competency to proceed, but is in need of outpatient treatment to restore competency to proceed. Based on upon the findings and the conclusions of law, it is ordered. The defendant is incompetent to proceed due to the defendant's mental illness as defined, and all further proceedings are hereby stayed. The defendant does not meet the criteria for commitment to a treatment facility and DCF as per Florida statute 916.13 article 1, but it is in need of outpatient treatment to restore competency to proceed. According to the defendant, all right, all this for a period not to reach 1 year. They send him to Meridian, right? Now he's out on bond. Now they're saying he's batshit crazy. Here's the judge's order. This is the new state's attorney that was assigned to the case. These are the players: Christian Pickens, Esquire, and Dean Galligani, Esquire. Department of Children and Families, Joanne Humberg, never seen her except here. Shannon Johnson, don't know who she is, but they sure put their signatures and entrusted their values to this paperwork. These are all the other Meridian behavioral workers, okay? Now, that being done, July 13th, 2023. So all that inactivity between November, because we're going to say the date that he got arrested, November 30th, all the way to 2024, and we're seeing August 31st, July 27th, August 24th. We're seeing all these dates. All right. These people did appear, right? And on such date that they were supposed to, they delivered an opinion that Meridian is competent to stand trial. Now, you know, he went to Meridian for, I gotta reload that. He went to Meridian for 6 months, basically, to the day. And this is that. This is, I gotta find it again. Court action, case management, to stand trial. All right, on this day, this happened. Tuesday, February 13th, courtroom 3B at 2 p.m. All right, so when Andre went to court on January 25th, right? See, this is where he went to court. The Meridians produced a finding that he is competent to stand trial. Now, he already went to Meridian for 2 years prior to this, right? He told his attorney about it. The attorney somehow finagled that he colluded with the state. He had to, what I feel breached attorney-client privilege and volunteered that Andre's competency could come into question, but not for a good reason, to silence him. Okay, because what's the most important thing that a person has is their voice. How do you take away their voice? Declare them incompetent. You've seen all the criteria. That he couldn't stand trial, that he couldn't do this, that, and the third. Alright, so now here we come before the court. That all is well with Andre, right? His attorney stands forward. I'm paraphrasing. They are in a hallway in a conference room, and Andre now is kind of, we've already sent forward a couple of papers. You know, we've left a couple of unexploded mines for them to trip across. All right, to cause casualty to their case. We've already implanted those, so they're already hitting these. I can't go into them right now, but what I want to enunciate is, at this time, in the conference room, in the hallway, Andre, because Andre's attorney had told him that he'd probably get a plea bargain offered to him. He's already been offered 5 plea bargains by the court. All right, we have the record. Change the plea as a plea bargain. Anyway, so long story short, we got Andre. He's in the conference room for court on January 24th, 25th. Days are not exact. When this comes to fruition, Andre's attorney says to him, "You don't have a plea bargain." He had already told Andre he's going to need another $10,000, then another statement of $3,000. Now, when Dean Galligani picked Dr. Rohr, at that time he announced to the court that his retainer was gone, and the public defender's office needed to pick up his bill. Judge Kreider okayed that, and he okayed the payment to Dr. Rohr, $600. which that didn't come out of Andre Abrams' $10,000 retainer either. So Dean Galligani has been paid $10,000. He's taken no action. During this process, he did not show up. One time, the bailiff told Andre he didn't have court that day. I can show all this. A failure to appear was issued, but Andre was there, and later on in the day, Judge Kreider did recognize him and asked him to advance, and a public defender come in. But I'm just showing you the shoddy representation that this Dean Galligani, they've tried to set this man up. They drug him for all these months. We're going on like 25 months now. Now he's got another court appearance. But the reason that I'm showing you this is where I'm going to in these next comments. At this time, while they're in the conference room, awaiting to go into the courtroom, Dean Galligani, Andre Abrams' $10,000 retained attorney, who's no longer being on his retainer because that's exhausted. He's now on estate's time in the public defender's office. Dr. Rohr's receipt, I'll show that in a little bit. He tells Andre that he needs increments of money that Andre can't afford, especially if he's deposing witnesses. So, at that time, he decides that Andre needs a public defender because Dean Galligani wants to get out from under this case. I'm telling you why. He's done made all the money he's going to make. He already probably got some billable hours to turn into the state. He's ready to get shed because I'm standing out there with signs. And Andre Abrams is protesting in different places. I've made videos of it. So this shit is coming down real hard and heavy. So Dean Galligani seems his point of exit. So when they present themselves to the court, Meridian enters their finalized statements that Andre is mentally capable of standing forward for the court and all of the activities of the court, right? All right, he's miraculous. All right, there's Judge Kreider. There's what's going on, certified service. All right. Anyway, so all this happened, right? Bam, bada boom, bada bing, page 2. All right, so now, after Meridian says that Andre is capable, because that's who the court retained to coach him into being cognitive enough to deal with court, his attorney says, my client is conspicuous of my behavior. He does not trust me, Your Honor. He wants a public defender at this time. Without any stammering, any contemplation, it just shows once again the back channel talking that Dean Galligani, the state's attorney, and the judge, Kreider, has had, because none of this would come without a hiccup, because without even batting an eyelash, Judge Kreider says, yes, assign this man a public defender, Attorney Dean Galligani, you're relieved. Dean Galligani goes on to pressure the judge saying, it's a mental health, mental health. See, that formalizes that Dean Galligani, he feels in his way that he's remedying his poor performance and lack of representation. All right, that's just how I'm deeming it. Now, I'm going to show you some things that make you go, I think... See where they took his guns from? Now, he's not a felon. He has no criminal record with them. Alright, so I gotta go back, refresh, go to the 9 pages. You have to excuse me. Sometimes this case is big. Like I said, there's 25, 26 appearances in court, something like that. 20. We'll just go with 24. Well, I can't find the bill right now. This is a letter that Andre wrote him. Hello, Miss Spicer, Spivey. Anyway, he was just wanting to know. This is where he's saying he wants to know how many times his attorney was not present in court when his cases were called. Now, I'm not going into any more about this case, but this is why I will be standing outside with a large sign against this man right here, Attorney Dean Galligani. And I wanted it all written down as in gospel, as according to why that this man he takes state's money the way I see it. So he takes the people's money, the tax money, so it makes him not just a private citizen, but a public citizen. So that's where all this went to. I will be standing outside with a sign, redressing my grievances and letting everybody know what we know about this piece of shit right here that colluded with the state's attorney and the judge. Things that I say, I'm not a professional, so they might not sound altogether, quasi-professional. But I think that I have highlighted the incidences that I can draw from to show cause of what actually goes on here. Now, this is only dealing with the attorney, Dean Galligani. I'm not extenuating. He has a new public defender, Mr. Bruncy Martin. I'm not saying anything like that. But we see where this has went. We see how many months this has carried on. We've seen all of the relevancy of where this has went. Now, I'm going to tell you, if the state had an argument to present and they would have went to trial with this already, I'm going to show you a couple of facts. We're looking at all these billets in court, right? Each gray matter is basically a new issue. You've seen every time you see held, all right? So we've seen all that. I'm gonna go over here. Oh shit, I went one. One step beyond it. And y'all can research this yourself. There's lots of tabs to open on this that I didn't. Okay. This is the docket. And this is the events. Now, I'm going to show you right here. These are the events. We're talking March 19th. 2024. He was arrested in November, December, January, February, March. There's his arraignment. That's why Judge David Kreider, he's the mental health court judge. Now just look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But there's more like 24 or 25 or more appearances. I'm saying 26. But I just wanted to show, here's the change of plea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, when you start talking about change of plea and their words, those are plea bargains offered or something to that effect, right? That's a lot. That's a lot. And now we're on Prince, Brittany. State Attorney Prosecutor. It's crazy when you think about what these people have done, and when you look at it through a lens like I'm looking at it, very depictive like it is with their own paperwork, these things are apparent. These are the reasons that when we say there is no justice, this is the justice system. Now, we're not talking about his case. We're just talking about the legal representation that he purchased. That's what we're talking about. I mean, when you start adding up how much goes on here, we have but nothing to do but fight and show what's going on. We can't, settle for this. This is just one incident that the city doesn't want to go forward with, that leaves the city, their actions, because I'm not even talking about the arrest or any of those procedures. I'm just talking about this private attorney who works for the state, left his case, and so now we have unfinished business. We have to get our $10,000 retainer fee out of him. And that's what we're doing here. And it's sad that you have a Superior Court judge, Judge Kreider. You have 1, 2, 3 assistant state attorneys and a private attorney that's all tried to work against Andre. Thank you for your time spent reviewing this. I'm going to go through this real slow so you can see.
Violence that they demonstrate, instigating, penetrating the values of our country. take us on the cheap.